Hey guys, Matt the Cruz from Network Empire. Welcome back. This is the second workshop over this period that we're going to be doing with you guys. This one's going to be focusing on-page optimization, working with silo architecture, and we've had fun. We just called this the Octo Super Funnel. So where we build trust, we dominate the search, and we sell everything related to our market that we want to sell. Okay, so obviously, if you watched the previous workshop, you will have seen the 10-click work week. You've seen the results of what happens when you deploy a GALAXIS build, and at the end, you saw the promotion. You've got a few days to basically get $700 off DMT. Grab it now; it won't be back again. And I showed you basically in DMT how we triggered GALAXIS to go build our website. So before I carry on with the workshop over here and we look at the Octo Super Funnel, let's jump into GALAXIS and go see what has happened while we were away. So you can see there, GALAXIS, I'm on site structure. I'm on the silo page. I've clicked refresh. GALAXIS is locked. It's working. I'll go refresh again. So there's all the silos built over here. As in workshop 1, I can click on add custom and I can type any keyword I want and I can add it as a blueprint, or I can come down below and I can tick on any keyword I want and I can add it to the blueprint. All right. So we're going to wait for GALAXIS to finish her job. I think she'll be done, but you can see her as busy building. There's all the categories getting built for us. And look at our jobs. Still processing. So GALAXIS is working away, building out this whole website for us. Anti-aging, muscle recovery, all the keywords are interesting. There's all the categories. That's all the information there. Okay, so we'll wait till this is all done. If I go refresh again, you'll see that it's already built out another one here. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll let this finish up. We're going to go talk about on-page copy in the presentation. I had fun with this. I was trying to think of a method that's fun, and the Octopass type of method came along. Is if you think about silo structure, it's almost like a library. It's a file text system. It's very rigid, and what people tend to forget is they always got to build their marketing layer on top of that. So with the Octo funnels principles, we're going to talk about this in a different way and make it more fun, but we're going to show you what to think about on your pages when you deploy your pages. And this is more for the human world, it's not for the machines. We're going to look at that shortly when we look at how the schema gets generated automatically for you. But let's go through this whole process. So most times guys rank their sites, they build them, they either build everything in the root, or they have all their categories exposed through their menu structure, or they're just a bit of a chaotic type of sites, right? That's one of the reasons why content fails. It's unstructured, it's ineffective, it's over-reliant on ads, and maybe Google just doesn't like it, doesn't want to eat it. As we showed you on the end results, Google's indexing the pages. They are not dropping out, they're sticking. Over this 4-week period is a good time to watch things, and you can see that they are doing what they're supposed to do. So what's the octopus funnel? Okay, so think of the silo as the spine. This is the spine. Your categories are the tentacles, and the brain. This is all the little long tails, all those articles, those posts that you're pushing out that's designed to speak to your audience. Think of it as 3 different ways. So at the top of the funnel, the structure, you've got a clean structure hierarchy. It's maximized for Google's trust. The tentacles, the categories, this is where we have highly relevant call to actions that guide the users to the next logical step. And then at the posts, we've got the articles that gives off the signals of deep experience. You know what's going on in that market, deep expertise. So component 1, the spine. What is a content silo? So for the guys that don't know, it's a structured organization of content by topic, authority, and not chronology. It's organized pages into parent pillars, which are basically categories, and childs, which are your cluster pages. The goal is to establish a definitive expert in a narrow variable topic. Okay, so the silos get everything organized, and you can take them from where they are over there. All right. So we're looking at the top of the funnel. We're looking at blog posts, guides, infographics, problem aware, offer lead magnet, email opt-in. Okay. Middle of the funnel, case studies, webinars, tools, solution aware. They offer demos, consultation. Bottom of the funnel, pricing pages, FAQs, testimonials, product aware. So if you look at that, that's like a very general way to think about it, but it's more to give you what to consider putting in where as you start building out your site and you optimizing the content. So in the middle of the funnel, you're going to put in a lot of detailed categories so that people can make decisions. This is where your tower pages come in. At the top of the funnel on the silos, this is where you're going to make short little videos talking about things. This is this thing, these are the choices, and you can link down into the silo to the relevant topics if people are interested that are most important. Component number 2, the tentacles, the CTAs. The CTAs must match the user's intent for that stage of that funnel. A common mistake is people asking someone reading a what is an article tofu to buy a high-end service. Boofu. Okay. So think about the level you're on and think about what you basically present to the people that you're working with. So a gentle, relevant offer on every page that moves them to the next stage is more important and will create more click-through and higher conversions than generalized things. So for example, top of the funnel, want a free checklist on the topic, download here. So if you look at some of the pages on Network Empire, you'll see on every page we gave the guys a checklist. These are the 5 things to think about. And why? We're dealing with a structured audience. The people are mostly working with the technical side of SEO, either analytical or structured. They've got to make things work. So number 3, the component 3, the brain. This is the topic clusters. How does Google see your expertise? The brain is the internal thinking structure within the single silo topic. Okay. Pillar page targets the broad, high volume keyword, email marketing strategy. Cluster pages target long tail specific keywords, all linking back to their pillar. Example, best time to spend on emails, writing subject lines. Benefit, when one page ranks, they all do. It creates unstoppable topic authority. And that's what the WP Silo WordPress plugin does for you. When you drag the widget into the columns, where you go appearances, menus, widgets, and you drag the Any Video Silo plugin into your column, all those internal links were done for you. You saw that just by me dragging the widget in and dropping the shortcode, I created 33,000 internal links pointing to all the important places of my website. So the active system, it's basically a closed list system what we're working with. From the top of the silo down to the bottom of the pages, the post pages always link up to the categories always link up to the silo always links up to the index. That's the top level domain. This is how we allow page juice. It's all your backlinks, all the juice that you're pushing from the domain authority in. This is how it flows through the whole site. So depending where you need juice, you can use your buffer sites like a G site, or you can use your G stacks. We're using Google properties to link to important pages within your site. And then obviously to those buffer pages, you can hit them with backlinks. Okay. So think about the whole thing as an active system that's all working in union together to collectively cover all the topics that are relevant to the audience on those specific topics. So yeah, it's a mouthful, but GALAXIS deals with that mouthful and she does a beautiful job with it all. So your action steps. If you've got a website that's not been silo structured, right, and it's just a site that's not performing, with GALAXIS, what we can do is take an existing site and through menu structure, we can essentially bolt on the new silo structures without disrupting the other site. Over time, you can 301 old pages to the new places in your site, but that's one way to get a boost in your site and to get content in without disrupting existing traffic. As you optimize and you publish the content, so you can start releasing the things that are most important for you at that point in time on your site to get them in the index. So when I have the live webinars with you guys, obviously these are pre-recorded. When we jump in the webinar, feel free to ask your questions about silo structure. You guys can pause the videos and you can look at those results. Now that's the rough draft from GALAXIS. Those pages have not been optimized, and we're going to go a bit more into the next section. But essentially what you want to do is when you're looking at your pages and the content on your pages, right, and you're looking at the silo structure, let's get back to GALAXIS here. See if she's finished. Still busy building. So it's got a decent site going on there. But in any case, if we look at the top of the funnel, you can have a micro CTO block. It could be a large contextual relevant block, 500 words, and you can drop in subliminal ideas, right? So we're playing a game of inception. as we're going through the website and we're working on the site, we're going to basically be dropping things in. Don't go on every single page and say the same type of blurb that's similar across all your pages, thinking that it's going to be a good call to action. It's better to make unique ones. As soon as you start duplicating the same pitch on every single page, Google starts picking them up as being similar. We did a test on this case study now that we worked on. On the first week, we had a paragraph that was tumbling with variants. And those pages didn't stick. As soon as we removed those out, they jumped back in. So what that meant was that whole silo, because of the marketing that we put on every single page, because of it being similar and introducing similar ideas, to actually compete with each other. So when you're doing your on-page optimization, just keep that in mind. And rather think about how to speak about the product in a totally unique, different way. You can use AI to help you with this, than to say the same blurb all the way through. Okay. Just be aware of that. So it's one of the learnings and things we saw when we were working, how AI reads our content. You can have a floating lead bar, a small sticky footer bar, and it can basically just say, just read about the problem, see the site-specific blueprint flaws now. Boom. So you can put your little thing relevant to that. So instead of having stuff that's in the copy, you can have little things that just pop up on certain places of your sites. Okay, a lot of the tools these days allow you to decide what pop-ups go where or what little CSS floating menus can come in. Okay. So at the silo level, that's basically what we want to look at is micro CTA blocks, floating lead bars, the inception hook. We drop down to the category level. We look at the pain comparison, internal link leverage, and the tool introduction. And everything's subtle. Before you spend 20 hours, try this method. Download this book. Don't link to read more. Do this with C automated way to build your silo hierarchy. So when we use the silo anchor silos function in the WP silo builder, that's essentially what it's doing. It's basically getting guys to click down. So we want the guys to read, and then they see things they're more interested in. They click into it, they read more, it's more time on site. That's the whole goal of that. So when we get down to the post level, this is the bottom of the funnel. You want case studies, you want finality blocks, you want direct checkout links. Okay, so you want the guy to be able to pay right now for that thing. Don't make him jump through two or three other things. So if you look at those little chirps there, you can see examples. But as we go through our site, and I've told the guys for the last 15 years, when you deploy silos, deploy one silo at a time, put your marketing in, get your call to actions in, and just focus on what's that audience and what they want to hear. What can we give them what they need? What's going to get them to come speak to us? So those are the fun parts that you have now with what GALAXIS has built. GALAXIS has built the framework. I've proved to you guys that the content sits. I've proved to you that it's indexed. I've proved to you that the schema is all valid. And it's taken a few clicks on the mouse. So let's say look at how GALAXIS is what we've been talking here. It's probably all done almost. It's building a nice big site. I'm going to drop down to the AI content generation here. You can sort of see what's been built so far. So I'm going to click expand all. You can see how GALAXIS created the silo, the category, and all your posts. Okay, so this is mapping everything out beautifully for you here. And all I did was I clicked one button. GALAXIS built me a website. Now, typically, I would have gone in and added other keywords in with the search volume and stuff and blended them in where I wanted them. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to keep it simple. Okay. So on the left here, this is where I say the human world. When I click on this, the wellness treats opens up. And typically when people work, they have to go page by page. They've got to do the keywords, the descriptions, their headline, all that kind of stuff. What we do with GALAXIS is everything is a bulk action. So first we're going to do is I'm going to flush all the article fields. So what that does is it clears out everything here. And then what I'll do next is I'll say delete all the content blocks. So any old library content that is literal, I've blown it away for this project. So usually your articles appear here first. So you can check it before it gets added to your blueprint. So I'm going to wait for GALAXIS to finish building. But typically the next two steps to do is I just go bulk SEO. And then I say bold articles. I like to use the generic one. It's one of my favorites. I run that one there. But you can see you can do persona-based content building as well, an outline on an article. I typically do bold article. Builds me my basic article. I get my whole framework out. I then come over here, I add my API key for ChatGPT. I save it, and then I can essentially generate whatever I type in over here. I can add and build in content blocks. So if you want to build a big article that is, let's just say it has to be 5,000 words. A lot of problems you have with bulk editing tools is they won't deliver those used results. Okay. So what we did is that to overcome that was to use DMT as the framework. We built our bulk content here. We then add the blocks as we go through and optimize the site. And then when we pull it into the main site, we start optimizing the pages. This is where we can use LLMs to really refine the content and make them longer and fill in the gaps that were missed, because the schema has all our keywords in it that is needed, and it becomes the backbone. All right. So for fun, I'm not going to generate the content now because I want GALAXIS to finish it is done. Okay, so let's see what's been done there. So she's done our work. Let's go refresh here. So there's the whole website that GALAXIS has built for us. And that's where the 10-click workflow comes from. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how the schema is built. But before I can do that, I need to do the SEO. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm just going to go bulk SEO slugs. So it's going to go run through and clean up all the slugs and make sure that everything is good. If you go look at our job, you can see it's busy going to go do that job now. And then what I'll do next is I'm just going to come in here and say bulk SEO the pages. That'll be my next job. And if you look here, go refresh. There's my 2 jobs waiting. So it's going to go and do that job. It'll come back, do the SEO, and it's going to run it over all those pages. So this site's pretty big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 8, 48. Yeah, it's probably going to be 300-400 pages. The way we can see how big the site is we can come to export manager, generate the content plan. We can open that up. It's going to save that. Open it. I'm just going to click on this. Close that for now. I don't really use Microsoft. So there we can see we've created a site that is 321 pages. And what's going to happen now, there's our content calendar. There's all the keywords that are targeted, the search volumes, the slugs. What GALAXIS will do now is we'll go and fill in all this information for us here and build all the schema. All right, so we can do all this work. So in the next video, we'll come back in the 3rd workshop and we'll see how far GALAXIS is. And I will show you how we go ahead and generate our schema. When I work in DMT, I spend in market analysis where I work. Silos, categories, and structure to add keywords, and then content is where I spend most of my time on the page deciding what I want to build and have put in. So we'll just leave this over here for now. You guys have seen how we can enhance our content through the structure that we're building over here. There you can see it's done the meta title, the keyword. It's busy doing all the SEO for us. So we'll just let that run. Let's look at the next one. So there, the next one's done. So you can see how powerful GALAXIS is. I've clicked 2 links and it's doing all this SEO for me. Optimizing everything. We like to keep GALAXIS a bit more loose in the sense that it does sometimes put a bit more wording in for your meta titles and your descriptions, because we want to allow you to come in and just fine tune and tweak yourself. It's what you should do. We've got plugins in the signal range that's coming out that will help you with that as well. So there's some lekker things coming for the subscribe members. So yeah, you can see how quickly GALAXIS is working. Let's look at anti-aging. Okay, let's just get back to our slideshow. So just to recap, guys, when you're working with your content, be aware of where you are in the funnel. So silos at the top, categories at the middle, posts at the bottom. This is where you build your towers, is on the categories. Build your tower pages here, not at the silos. Don't make the silos a 5,000 word article. Make the category, because that's the place a person has to make decisions. So you have to tell him everything he needs to know, and then what you can do is you can link down for more information, or through an anchor text in the copy, you can link down to the post that GALAXIS has covered already that should have that topic covered. If it's not there, you can add it. So super powerful, guys. You see how GALAXIS works. So go look at your website, look at the structure, and identify your 3 most profitable topics. Create a pillar page, add a category for each of those 3 topics. So boost those things. Make sure you got a minimum of 5 posts under each of those. And then make sure they're internally linked, and you'll see it'll make a huge difference to your site. So if you're not using the video seller plugin or any of those things, you can manually do it. It is possible, but it's a lot of work. I'd rather drag and drop. But yeah, this is basically ways you can start enhancing your site and things you must be aware of when you're building out your content. All right, guys. So like I said in the last workshop, if you're new to this workshop and you've not seen the promotion, this is a unshameful pitch for Digital Marketers Toolbox. You see how powerful it is. We basically just mapped out a 300-page website with one click of a mouse. It's analyzed all our keywords. It's cherry-picked what it's wanted. We can go in and optimize, do what we want. For less than $3.50 a day, you can claw back $1,800 for every single project. So what we'll do now is I'm not going to generate the content. The content usually takes 30 minutes to sit and run. But what I will do is I'll do the schema as soon as this is finished. So in the next workshop, guys, come watch how we map out the schema. And the reason why I'm doing the schema in the next workshop is because it ties into the agentic world. We're going to discuss LLMs and how you can use a schema with it before you launch your projects. And then we're going to talk about broadcasting, promotions, and build backlinks. So guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Looking forward to having a chat with you. Matt signing out.